What's up, Fort Knox? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Riley Knox. For those of you who don't know, I am the #1 Beyonce impersonator in the world, but I'm also transgender. And on my channel, I talk a lot about issues that go on in the transgender community and that go on in the world with transgender women and against transgender women or for transgender women. And today, as you probably saw in the thumbnail already, I'm going to talk about what it's like being a passable transgender woman versus a non-passable transgender woman. And I think a lot of time, first of all, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, but I think a lot of times it's one of those things that's not really talked about a lot, but I think it's a conversation that goes on behind closed doors amongst especially cisgender people. I will tell you what it means to be passable or clockable, or not, you know, what that lingo means. So basically passable, a passable transgender woman, for those of you who don't know, or a passable transgender person, because it could also be male also, but I'm speaking from a trans woman perspective, can basically, what it means is someone who moves about the world and most people don't really know by looking at them that they are transgender. They might have more, they might present female a little bit more than someone who's not passable. They basically look, for a trans woman, looks very feminine, or for a trans man looks very masculine. They're typically not super tall, and maybe sometimes they are, because I have friends who are very tall and that are models. So so that's basically what passable. It's basically like you can pass, if nobody knew, you pass as a cisgender heterosexual woman, a cishet woman. And it's basically what a lot of people consider me to be. The fact that I can move about the world for the most part, and at first glance or without doing a deep dive, people don't really know that I'm transgender. But also, I want to say that just because that might be the case doesn't mean I shy away from being transgender. I'm very proud to be trans, and I have no, I say this, and I want to put this disclaimer: I don't care what you know or how you feel. I care how you treat me. So if you're disrespectful to me, then obviously I'm going to have a problem with that. But I probably did in the past, and I think you guys have heard me talk about this in past videos, that I used to think like, do they know, like try to look as feminine as possible and make sure that everything, you know, whatever. Now I don't worry about that. I am who I am. I like looking the way that I look, and I am very open about me being transgender. I have no problem with that, and I don't care if I exist in spaces where people might be questioning or not know or whatever. For the most part, people usually know if they know who I am, or, you know, whatever. And just, you know, moving about in the world, walking down the street or walking into, you know, a store or whatever, for the most part, people don't really assume. They might, after, like I said, talking to me for a while, they might kind of figure out something's different, or my voice or something, or I don't know what, you know, there's all kinds of things. So that's basically what being passable means. What the slang term clockable would basically mean someone who basically isn't passable, or isn't thought of as passable, or what society, let's just get that out there, what society thinks that being passable is, or what they think that transgender women should look like. I think there is this weird, and there's, I don't know if it's weird, but it's this ongoing thing that people think that if you're transgender, you're supposed to look a certain way, or that there's a cookie cutter thing as to how transgender women look, that they're all supposed to be glamorous and all supposed to be like super feminine and super whatever. And that's not always the case. For whatever reason, it could be, you know, because, you know, someone can't afford, you know, don't have the means to make themselves look as feminine or to present as feminine, or naturally they don't look as feminine. Or it could be that they just don't, you know, they didn't take the route of wanting to be on hormones, or they didn't take the route of wanting to, or whatever. Or maybe it might be the fact that no matter what they do, sometimes those features still, you know, you either, you know, maybe they can't afford the surgery or surgeries, or even if they don't want to have surgeries, they're content with who they are, or no matter how many times they've done something, it's still just not, you know, it's still something, whether it be like they're super tall, or whether it be that their hands are bigger, or their feet are bigger, or their voice is deeper and they can't really help that. You know, you never know why a girl looks the way that she does, or even a girl that's super feminine. You don't know what that girl has to go through and move about in life in order to be who she is and live her truth. And the point of what I'm trying to make in this whole video is, just because you're not attracted to someone, or you don't find them attractive, doesn't mean that you should limit your respect. Your respect for me, or for any trans woman or any trans person, should not be based on your attraction to them, or limited to your attraction for them. And what I mean by that is, people will try to pick at someone, or whisper and say things, and persecute someone who doesn't present as they think that person should present, and try to be disrespectful. I've had many people say to me, and thought that they were doing me a favor, or doing me like a solid, by saying, like, you know, I don't know what's going on with my hair there we go, by saying that, you know, well, Riley, you're different because you look like this, and that's just like a man in a wig, or like, you know, I think of you different because you're like a girl, or because you're like, no, we're all the same. Those are my sisters. And I do understand the privilege in what I have as being a passable trans woman, but I don't stand for, and because I have, what I want to say, and because, not but and because I have that privilege, I try to use that privilege to educate people. Yes, we might look different, but we're the same. The respect that you have for that person, you should have for me too. Because you wouldn't like if someone did it to me. And it's been done to me before. Let's just be clear. Doesn't matter how passable a trans girl is, there is a space that she can exist in where she may not be, where people can still figure her out. She might be spooked in some kind of way. And my friends, I say to them, like, you know, you wouldn't want someone to do that to me being your friend or your relative. You wouldn't want them to do that to me, so don't do it to other people. And I also, I will say, within our community, there's always been this thing between passable girls and girls who aren't as passable, where it's like this divide. It's the same way there's sometimes a divide in the gay community between guys who are really masculine and guys who are very feminine. And what I say to that is, you know, we're all sisters in the same struggle. And, you know, I think a lot of times some passable girls may come off as like, but we're not better than anybody just because we might present a certain way, or there might be jealousy on another end for that reason too. So it goes both ways. But I think the key is that we are in the same struggle. And I have had girls think that I wouldn't want to hang out with them, or I wouldn't want to talk to them or be seen with them in public for fear that the fact that they're kind of clocky and I might get them, they might get me clocked. I don't care about that. Trust me, I really don't. I'll hang out with anybody, whoever. It's not and the first person to say something to that girl, I'm going to definitely stand up and be like, first of all, you don't treat her like that. You don't talk to her like that. Like, I will stand up for the person. I think there is a responsibility for those girls who present more female and that get more respect in the world to give access to those girls and to fight for those girls that don't. And I think that, you know, in the same way that we have to fight for those girls, in the same way that people have to change their idea of what they think that a trans woman should be. We come in many facets, the same way that cisgender women come in several different shades and colors and facets and demeanors and styles. The same thing with trans women. All trans women don't have hair down to their ass and glamored up and wear makeup every day and, you know, have big boobs pushed up and all this stuff. That's not there's no cookie cutter version of what we are, you know? And I think that people think that because a lot of times in media, a woman who is more passable gets more shine. I think that gives the world an idea like, oh, that's what they're supposed to look like. You know, I once heard a comedian, D.L. Hughley, say that you know, Laverne Cox, she got the good package. Like she looks good. Like you know, and was just like Bruce Jenner, which is Caitlyn. First of all, he called her by the wrong name. Was just like should have gotten that. Like I don't know what he's doing. Like that's not for you to say, and it's not for you to discriminate. Like it's like you can't accept one and then not accept the other. That's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. And I felt some type of way when I saw that. I think it was on the Breakfast Club. I'm not really sure. You guys can go and check and see if that's where it was. Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, it was. And he was basically saying, like, being respecting Laverne and disrespecting Caitlyn because of the way that they look. That's a big problem. And think about it in the same way that you know, dark-skinned women versus light-skinned women in the Black community. It's that same kind of situation. You get where I'm going with this? And it happens in several different settings where people will think that, you know, it's okay. Like, I accept them, but only if they look like this. That's not cool. And like I said, you never know what somebody has to do. You don't understand what someone has to go through in order to walk down the street every day, and they're just being themselves, minding their own business, and what it must be like to have people for no reason throw things at them, yell homophobic or transphobic slurs at them, or do all kinds of things, or be in fear for your life and have to carry around something to protect yourself at all times because you never know where it's going to come. I once talked to a trans girl who was still in high school and she did not want to go to school. She's a taller girl. She, you know, at the time was not, you know, in a financial space where she could, you know, have access to things that would make her present more feminine. And she dropped out of high school and didn't want to go back to school because people would throw things at her. Nobody wanted to be her friend. Like it was just the most ridiculous thing. And, you know, I've been in spaces, and I can tell you a lot of passable trans women will tell you that we've been in spaces where maybe a girl came in who was, you know, a little more clockable, and someone will turn to you and say, you see that man over there? Or you see that? And it's just sort of like you let them talk for a little bit and then you realize, like, no, I need to say something. You know, like, first of all, I'm that too. So first, if you're not going to do that to me, don't do that to her. You know, or people will want to say, that's a man that, like, if they see two people come in with a man and a woman. I heard T.S. Madison talk about the story, and I actually had a similar story where a trans woman was with a guy that she was dating. And she came in and she was, you know, a girl was like basically figured out that she was trans and was just like, oh, I'm going to go tell him that that's a man. First of all, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Mind your damn business. You know what I'm saying? Like, mind your business, that's first of all. Second, who are you to tell? Like, first of all, I'm pretty sure he knows who he's with. That's not for you to do. And it just makes no sense. Like, as people, and myself included as a passable trans woman, we have to do better when it comes to trans women and how we treat people and how we, you know, our respect for people. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to like me. You don't have to like what I am, how I look. But you should not be disrespecting someone based on just how they look, because you don't know anything about that person at all. And, you know, for me, I guess what I'm trying to say in this whole video is basically a call to my cisgender people, my homosexual people, my passable transgender people. you have to be careful how you are treating people in the trans community, and based on just how they look. I want to tell you that on a list of things about trans people and things that are important on how to be trans, looking like this and being glamorous and doing all this is very low on the totem pole. It's not, that is not a that's nothing of it. Like, being trans is not all about like hair and makeup and being glamorous and all that stuff. No, this is who we are. And like I said, and I will say this again, you have no clue what it must be like for people, no matter who they are. And even with myself, like, you might think just, oh, well, you know, she's in the public eye and she's, you know, whatever, she does this and she looks this way, she probably has it easy. No, you don't understand what we have to go through. You don't know what somebody, and that's with anybody. You know, I could just put that up as a blanket statement. You know, you never know what anybody is going through. So move about the world and treat people with a little more kindness, because you never know what they're going through. You don't know what it takes for some people to get out of the bed and to move about the world and be who they are. And that's basically all I wanted to say. Subscribe to my channel. Hopefully you guys like this video. Share it with a friend. Educate some people, because that was what the purpose of this video was for. And I love you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.